Hey guys, what's going on? It's the 120th Whisperer here once again for GBA4iOSkins.com. Today I will be showing you how to make the iPad portrait skin, not the iPad 2X, but just the iPad. I'll show you the sizes here. So, the iPad is going to definitely be a different size than the iPhone portrait skin, mostly just because of the higher resolution, but also because you have more space to work on. So, uh, the total dimensions of the iPad skin are 768 and 345, sorry, 768 by 345. So that'll be 768 pixels wide. So we're going to go ahead and open a new document. Let's just call this iPad GBA4iOSkins tutorial. The name doesn't matter. You can always change that when saving. So the width, if I remember right, was 768, and the height at 345. Both pixels. Let's just make sure real quick. So width of 768, correct, and height of 345, perfect. Okay, so next you want to do, keep all of your settings the same. It really does not matter on resolution as well. Like I told you last time, your bit depth, I'm actually going to go, I'm going to stay at 16-bit. If I go to 32-bit, that transparent, I believe, just automatically gets transferred to white. So I'm going to keep at 16-bit, and if you also notice, the image size may go up a little. Yeah, it almost doubles. So, your best bet, keep it at 16, won't be an issue. So, that is the size of the iPad, normal iPad version. So I believe this would only be seen on the second generation iPad. I believe the third is when they got the Retina display, was the third generation iPad. Correct me if I'm wrong, but that's as far as I know at the current time. So normal tutorials would branch off and try and create skins that would complement others, so you could put them all in one pack. But I will be showing you different methods, I guess you could say, of making skins, different ways you can create your buttons, different button layouts and designs that you can do, just to show the customizability of your skins and how well and easily you can do so in a program like Photoshop. I will try to make Microsoft Paint, but Microsoft Paint tutorials, but my PC right now is I'm actually going to be upgrading it to Windows 8. I want to say in the next month or so. So mostly because I'm missing a lot of programs. If I try, let's just say running the calculator. I'll hit like Windows R and I'll type in CALC for the calculator, and it'll CALC file is not found. So I have a lot of issues with that. I don't know what's going on. I may have deleted it. I don't know. But I don't even know if Paint is in there anymore. So I'll try to do some Paint tutorials, but if there aren't any, I'll have to do that when I get Windows 8 on my machine, and those will come out later. So let's just jump right in here. So far we have a transparent skin. If I were to even export this as a picture, it would be nothing. It would just be transparency. It would take whatever background color is behind it on whatever medium it's being seen on as the color. So, let's just put a gradient in the background by grabbing our paint bucket, holding our click and hitting the gradient tool. And if you click up here where you see my blue, red, and yellow gradient that I actually used for a previous video on another channel, you can actually, you have a load of selection of gradients to choose from. All of these, I believe, are default gradient styles. So I'm just going to go ahead and click the black to white gradient. There we go. Now we see the color. Oh, foreground to background. That's what it's doing. Okay, so the black to white will take just a straight black color to straight white. That would be pound all zeros to pound all Fs in hexadecimal code, if any of you are familiar with web design, which isn't that hard to get into, so if you're thinking about doing it, go ahead and do it. It's a lot of fun. I'm only 16, and building a website from the ground up, it is a lot of fun, and it calms me down for the day. So let's say for a gradient, I'll do this customized. Let's go with, I don't feel like vomiting. Let's do a light green to light blue. Light green to cayenne, I guess, or cyan, however you say it. I hear it's pronounced both ways, and then I get chewed out by other people saying, no, it's this, and I just want to shut them up. Okay, so let's just say that that is going to be our color. Let's darken it a little. Okay, that's our color, however ugly that may be. So let's choose the white, the second color. This time I'm just going to go with a nice maroon color. This, under no circumstances, looks good, even to me. But we'll just leave it at that. Yeah, alright. So what you want to do is while you have your gradient tool out, you can choose from a selection of them. You can do from linear gradient, which is from start point when you click and hold to the end point from where you release. You can do the, I believe, radial gradient, which is, oh, got an inch on my face. The radial gradient is you click in the center and you pull out however far you want the gradient to go across. So the center would be your start point and the end at which you release your mouse key. So if I say I started right in the center here and pulled out here, this exact spot would be where the gradient ended from the center. So that's the radial. The angle gradient, I don't even know. I'll be honest, I've never used it. It's just weird, even the design of it. I guess what it does is kind of the same thing. Let's test it. Let's find out what it does. So click your start point, click your end point, or drag out to your end point, and let's do this at an angle and release. Okay, I see what that does. It says your start is below where you started the gradient, and your end is above where the line of your gradient was. And it's taken on that angle, and your gradient goes along that circle path. I don't like that under any circumstances. Okay, so let's go to the next one. The reflected gradient does what it says. Green to red to green. A little too big there, so I'll just show you a little bit smaller. So you can see the green starts out, it goes as far as it needs to end that gradient, and reflects it on both sides. And then we have our diamond gradient, which is kind of how it sounds. You choose your start and end, you choose however far you want the square of the diamond to go out, and it will make that gradient work, and will give you a nice diamond effect. So I'm actually going to change the color choice, because I really don't like that green. So let's just make it nice and bright. Let's go. You know what? It's October, Breast Cancer Awareness Month. Let's just go. Oh man, I'm trying to remember my hex codes. Perfect. So all pink, really bright. Well, not really pink, but according to the computer, purple. So let's go from the bottom to the top. Oh, I forgot to just deselect that diamond. Let's just go linear, keep it at linear, and top to bottom. There we go. So you got that nice shade of pink and that nice dark reddish, maroonish looking color. Kind of looks like rust. Little bit in there, little FE203. Just little nerd moment there. Okay, so we have our background, or let's call that our background. You might hear my dog barking. Let's go to create a new layer, and this is where we will create our first button. Last time we used all rectangle tools for all the buttons except for A, B, start, select, and menu. This time for the left and right keys and the D-pad, we will be using the rounded rectangle tool. So you're going to want to set a radius. So for that radius, we'll test it at 10 pixels. I may increase it, I may decrease it. This is just a design principle that will influence how you design your skins, more naturally than not. So I actually want to find the center of the skin first, and boom, there we go, perfect center. So now I know where I am when I'm there. All right, so that 10 pixel size seems to work fine. Let's make this height of 50 just for consistency purposes. And let's give it a little bit of a stroke so I actually know where it is. Let's go with black stroke. Lower that from 288. I really, when I work on minor projects personally, I work with ultra high def images on Photoshop, so that's probably why I was at that 288 point size. Let's bump this up to say 30. All right, that's a nice black bold around bold black stroke around it. So let's duplicate it, and I know the last time I just said let's duplicate, and I did. This time I'll actually tell you how. You actually have to hit Control J, or you can go to the layer that you were on. So this was the rounded rectangle 1 was the layer we were on. You could right click the layer and hit duplicate layer, and it will ask you for the name, and you hit OK. I just find Control J a lot faster because it does the automatic naming, and I usually don't change the name unless I really, really need to. So let's move over. Let's move that layer over, and let's find out how far in so we can have that error of consistency for the left bumper button. So let's put that at 30 px. Oh, wrong layer. Okay, so put that at 30. And how far is that? Let's make this 15, or you know what, let's make it 20 since it's already there. So put 20, and man, I really need to get out of this funk. Okay, so how far out was that size? That was a 768, so 768 minus 30, 738. So a 738 guide, so you go up here and hit new guide. We want a vertical guide, so that was 738 pixels, and there it is. And we adjust our layer. Okay, and I can now clear the guides either by swiping them away into the rulers or by hitting view and clear guides, but because I still want to keep that center, I shall leave it there for now. And on to the rest of the buttons. So let's go into the D-pad. The D-pad will still be using the rounded rectangle tool. Yeah, I'll show you the rounded rectangle tool, and I'll show you a nice cool effect that I actually discovered while making the skin for EMU for iOS, or as he is on YouTube, I believe Pyrofilms FX. Really nice skin. Wasn't hard to make, but I did find out some very interesting aspects of using Photoshop and how to use skew features and whatnot for it. So start off with our shape. Let's bulk that up a little. Translate it or transform it by hitting Control T, or you can always go up to Edit and you'll see Transform Path, and you can hit or you can hit Free Transform Path. That's what I'm on right now. So let's just transform this so it's what did I say that was? That was a 15. I'll just increase it by a little. So it doesn't really matter how much you increase it by. It just, make it look good. Make it look like you would be proud to use and call this your skin. So again, Control J to duplicate, Control T to transform, change the angle to 90 degrees so you have it dead on the center between the two. Here, I now have, oh, I'm still trying to transform. Okay, so now you'll notice that I have, wow, I need to outline these things. I will assume that these are perfectly centered on each other. Oh, those aren't even the right two layers. Oh, that could have been an issue. Okay, so these two are the right two layers. Okay, so I will assume that they are perfectly centered on each other as they look perfectly centered on each other. So I shall right-click again on both of the layers. So you'll have one, Control and click, or Shift click if they're only two away, but if they were in that case, whereas there was something in the middle. You hit Control, because if you hit Shift, everything between point A and point B will be highlighted rather than just point A and point B. So I'll just hit Control to deselect that. I shall merge those two shapes to see them both at the same time, and move and work with them both at the same time. So let's move that down a little, and let's line that up right on the center. And perfect. And let's add the stroke. So open up the blending options by double-clicking or by right-clicking, going all the way up to the top of the right-click pop-up menu and clicking blending options. You want to bring your stroke selection here, click it. Whoa, bring that way down for me. I'll say, how about 6? 6 should work fine. And position, let's put it inside this time. I didn't like how it, I had to edit the absolute position of where it was, of where the skins were, or where the buttons were when I applied the stroke last time. So I won't be dealing with it this time. Let's choose a color of, let's go with blue, okay? 00F, perfect. That's a nice light blue. Let's change the blend mode. So here's one thing that I actually learned recently. Blend mode, if you've ever seen the RGB circles, like you'll see here for the channel mixer, you'll see like standard, you'll see a red circle on top, a green circle to the left, and a blue circle to the right, or the blue and green circles will be flipped. But what you'll see is where they overlap in that triple Venn diagram looking setup, their colors will mix. So where you see red and blue, you'll see pink. Where you see green and blue, you'll see, want to say green and blue, I want to say cyan, however. And when you put green and red over each other, it mixes yellow. And where the 3 circles merge over each other, you'll see white. The way you can do this to make that effect happen naturally, easily, without having to create masks, create vectors, create custom shapes, all that, easily do it, is create your 3 circles and put all of them to a lighten blend mode, which I learned just in the past week or so. So now that that's activated, I'm going to go into the blending options, turn the fill opacity down to 0 so that we don't have that black look on the effect of the stroke, because if you, actually no, there wasn't anything there, so it didn't matter. But occasionally, if you ever deal with something that has a black outlining in the very front, you want to bring the fill opacity down so that when you have this outlining here and you put it to lighten, it is not affected by the blue, or by the color below it. So actually, I am going to increase the contrast of that so we can see it all the way around, see where those borders are in the pink. So let's see how this looks. We'll have a live preview option, or live preview as shown here when I scroll through. So let's put this to the cyan. See if I can get it there. Get it there. Get it there. Come on. Oh, I'm starting. Wait, almost. Come on. Up. I'm going down again. Okay. So let's just drop that up to 0FF, which is the cyan hexadecimal color code. And you'll notice the cyan is mixing with the purple as it would, since according to a computer, cyan is blue and green, and white is red, green, and blue all working together. That pink is caused by red and blue. So because there is a red aspect and the cyan is green and blue, it will show up as a light white color, not completely white, but almost there. So I'm actually going to bring it down a little bit in the color. So let's not do it that way. Let's bring it into the green a little. So we see that that's a weird beige looking color, but I'll work with it for now. Let's hit OK here, and now we have our D-pad. So now I promised you guys I was going to show you this. Let's hit the oh, where did it go? There it is. We hit convert to smart object, so it maintains all of the styles that I've put to it, and it becomes its own shape as one whole, rather than a mixture of 2 shapes acting as a whole, as we did when we merged the shapes together rather than creating that smart object. Alright, so when you have that converted to a smart object, you go up to Edit, You go to transform, not free transform, but transform, and you'll see again, which does the exact same thing that you've done previously for a transform. So if I click this, I have no idea what it would do. Let's just try it out. It would move it that specific amount. So let's go to transform, and what we want to do, I believe what I did was perspective. And you'll see it opens up these 8 handles that you'll see that appear around the object in a box formation. Now these allow you to change the positioning of either the whole side as one or one corner. You can shrink the side as one, or you can shrink the top as one for that specific kind of deal. So let's Control Z that. So if I say wanted to hit this and then bring it down, you'll see it gets shorter, 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 shorter. And at some point, I started thinking, what happens if I crossed? Will it let me cross those points? Turns out it will perfectly fine. And then you'll see 2 perfectly made arrows created by this. Now there is a little glitch with Photoshop, or at least the version I have, where if you hit perfect 0 on that cross, it will do that, right? You see that glitch right there. My hand is moving a little shaky right now. That glitch right there, that simulates it being an infinitely sized, as you can see up in the Y in the top corner here, the size total X is 134.50 pixels in, and it's apparently negative 30,000, or is that 300? That's negative 300,000 pixels, I want to say tall. Or, no, it starts at negative 300,000 pixels and ends at negative 300,000 pixels, or, sorry, positive 300,000 pixels all the way at the top. So I want to keep that from happening. So there is going to be a little bit, a very minor amount, but it's going to be there. There's no way to prevent it. You can't get dead on 45 degrees, not the version I have anyway. So don't really try, or else you'll have this glitch. So you'll have to live with a 0.1 degree error. So really the only way I've found to live with that and fix it properly is to try fixing it that way, is by fixing and working with the other handles to see if they will let you do anything as best you can to make it look good. So boom, now you see you have 2 arrows with the sighting, or the arrow pointing in, kind of a little messed up. So we have 2 arrows, that's great, but where is the full design of the keypad? We don't have that, of course not. So what you have to do is you have 2 options that you can do. You can either erase this portion of the arrow, duplicate it 4 times, or now this will be a little glitchy, so you're going to want to do that for 4 times duplication. You want to Control J, Control T. I believe these would also be the same commands on Mac, but honestly, I have no idea. I've never quite used Photoshop on a Mac. I used it twice back in middle school. Hold on a second. Alright, sorry about that, guys. That was a little interruption from the family. So like I was saying, I haven't used Photoshop on a Mac since I was in middle school twice, for both for science projects, I believe. So I'm going to try getting back to what I was doing. What was I doing with this? Because this, I guess, was just the, this was the translation of, what was this? This was the translation of the, wow, I can't even remember, translation of the D-pad. So we already have a negative 45.25 rotation on it. We want to put that as a, wow, really? It won't let me hit the delete key. Wow, 90 does not work. What's 45? No, let's try 45. Yeah, 45 works. So, not 450. People, help me out here. 45. There we go. So, as you can see, that doesn't quite look good. This is probably the only time I've ever gotten that to look decent, except for that one section right there. This is the first time that's ever happened. So I'm going to try correcting it a little. Yeah, there's no way. Absolutely no way to not create inconsistencies. So again, I'm just going to delete that. I'm going to erase this portion of it and use this one arrow as the key component of size. So, back to what I was saying, I haven't used Photoshop since probably CS4 until I got CS6. I rasterize a smart object. Fun. Okay. So what I did was I went over and got the eraser tool. Now you could use the eraser or the background eraser, but you would probably, for this case, rather use the eraser tool when selected on a specific, um, specific layer. So let's erase the arrow that we have there. So you can click here, and you can hit Shift and click there, and it will draw a straight line of erasing from point A to point B. But it's always good to do a nice check to make sure and go over to make sure it got everything between those 2 points yourself. So I'm just going to do it myself like this for the ease of time. This is already a 25-minute video. I don't want to burden you guys any more than you already need to be. So I'm about to duplicate this 4 times. So 1, 2, 3, or technically duplicate it 3 times. So let's just translate and hit 90 and hit OK. And let's position that. Let's put that there for now. Okay, next one, translate. And this time we'll do 180 since we need that full rotation to get it a mirrored version. And wow, that actually looks pretty freaky. Let's put that there for now. And go for the next one down, translate, and 90 degrees. Oh, well, not wrong 90, negative 90 degrees. Perfect. So now it's pointed straight down. So now we have our 4 arrows, and now we just need them to line up on each other. So let's say there. So now let's see which one is that. That is, oh man, trying to think here. It's not easy. Okay, so yeah, that's the proper one. So let's say that will work for now on positioning. Let's bring in the original so it's close enough to touch the first one, but just barely. Okay, so that will be our reference positioning. So let's go back to the first copy that I translated over and move that into place. Perfect. And then go to the third one and move, or second one here, and move that one into place. I'm using the arrow keys to move them around just because it's easier and faster. Okay, so wow. Okay, so obviously there's going to be some amount of inconsistency, but when you do this kind of thing, when you skew it first and then you try and adjust it to make it look good, and then you go off of one, it's bound to happen. There is almost no way to get out of it. It's just going to happen. You're just going to have to live with it. So I shall merge those 4 layers just so I can use them all as one. So most people are like, oh, why don't you just link, or why don't you just convert them to smart object or whatever. I'd rather just merge them as layers first, then convert to smart object, because it's safer for me personally. I've had some weird things happen with converting to smart objects straight from the layers themselves as one giant whole. So I don't want to go through that again, especially not during a one-take or attempted one-take system. Could not use move tool because no layers. Oh, that might help. Okay, so let's just align that just under the middle. And let's go to our A, B, start, select, and menu keys. I'm going to use the polygon tool this time to show you what that can do. So the polygon tool can hold any number of sides from 3, I believe 250 is the limit. Let's try to find the limit. 100 is the limit, but when you approach like 50, it really doesn't matter. It looks like a giant circle, as I'll just show you here. Yeah, it just looks like a giant circle, but there are some definite changes that you can see in how rugged it is to the sizes, and you'll see that as you get bigger and bigger. But that's as you approach the larger numbers, so let's Control-Z. I'm only going to use, let's Let's go with a septagon. Not a lot of people use or have. I've actually run against people that have never heard of one. So 7 sides septagon. So hit shift so it's a uniform size, and click, and there it is. And so, okay, there we go. Shift and drag up so you have it properly aligned straight. Okay, so there is your septagon. So let's add a stroke. Let's make it lime green, and again with the point size, I'm getting annoyed. Let's not 1.3, let's 0.3. And let's Control J, so that's A, B, start select. And I'll make another one for menu. I'll make that a separate design. So we have our A here, our B key here, our start key, let's move that here, and our select key, let's move that just a little bit off of the center, the horizontal center line. Of course, it's not going to be exact, but who really cares about exact when this is never going to be published? So let's just line up the B and A so they look a little better in positioning. I'm going to have to start getting used to positioning these to look good and work well on an iPad. I do not personally own an iPad that I can test these on. I actually don't own an iPad myself. I have to send these to Mythical for testing, as he runs the GBA4iOS blog, and he actually started out as a general tester, but posted the blog as a way to let everyone know what's going on. But he did not want the strains of being a press tester, as they have a few mandatory requirements that they do when working with Riley to test GBA4iOS 2.0. So he did not want those stresses, so he just stayed out of it, did not worry about it, and started up the blog as his own personal thing to do. After a while, Riley said, "Hey, you've done a lot for us, or for me, making GBA4iOS 2.0. Would you like to be a press beta tester so you would get more updates than general?" And, of course, not like an idiot, Mythical said, "Sure, why not?" So now I have to send the iPad skin designs that I make to him for testing on an iPad before I can upload them at all. So let's get back to this. So we have our A and B keys. So let's lock those. Let's link them together so they they move around properly. But I can still edit the style of one without affecting the other. So I can put a stroke around it, and it does not affect the other perfectly fine. So let's do that as well with the start and select. So right click, choose your two, right click, and hit link layers. And let's just center them together on that center line there. And let's make the menu key. I'm going to use a custom shape tool. Now, when you first launch Photoshop, I believe these are the very default, what would you say? The very default custom shapes that are in Photoshop to begin with. On my laptop, I believe I have somewhere around 400 or 500 plus, just for different projects that I've had to do for school. So let's choose the one that looks like the aiming down sights sniper scope that you'll see in any first-person shooter or sniping-based game. So let's think about here. We could put it in the corners. We could put it at the top. Let's put it directly in the center, so it really does look like the sharpshooter design that I chose it for. So let's put it there. Put it right in the center, or put it right in the center. Translate it a little bit so it's not overlapping any other skin mappings that may need to be done. As for overlapping, I'm not sure what would happen if they were to overlap, but we definitely don't want that to happen. So let's go back into it, take the stroke off, and we could give it a fill of black. Yeah, let's give it a fill of black. What would the stroke do for it? That would look horrible. Okay, I'm getting rid of the stroke on that. Okay, so getting rid of the stroke on that, and then I shall now remove the center points, because I know that no matter what, I can just use this, the ADS scope center, to look for that center, because I know that the lines are perfectly centered on. So I can just easily use that for centering if need be, which at this point would not. So I'm going to add a little bit more design to this. As we see, that's a bit of a glitch. Where did it go? Oh, there it is. Can't. I'm blind. I can't see it. So as you see, the design is supposed to be like white, transparent background, and then white on the inside. So I won't be using white. I shall be going with. Let's go into the gradient tool. Let's choose from, instead of linear this time, we shall use radial. This is something that the radial would definitely come in handy for. Something that's nice, it's spherical, you want it to look good. Let's change the scale so it's not all black and then that abrupt white. Let's shrink it a little bit so you see it start out as that black and its gradient, it's changing the gradient immediately, even when you're coming out of this immediate circle, into that white and then ends at that white design. So now, of course, we can drag this white to a position of 50, or we can just type in 50 at the location. And we can create a new point by just clicking anywhere below the graph and choosing our destination. So let's leave that at 100, choose our color. Let's go with red, or no. I'm gonna go with a nice grayish silver, just to show off the radial tool and how to change your gradients so they look like that. And you can even hit reverse, does what it sounds, it changes that gradient, so it just flips it where it is. So let's leave that as it is, and hit OK. So this is a horrible skin, I'll admit, but it is a skin nonetheless. So this is the iPad resolution, just the iPad 2 resolution at 768 by, please be 345 pixels in size. And just to make sure and to correct myself in case I'm wrong, yep, 768 pixels by 345 pixels. And that is the basic size and dimensions. It's about the same way. I've shown you a few new ways how to make skins, how to make the buttons, how to make them look, how to make those shapes. So I think I've shown you the custom shape tool, the polygon tool. I've definitely shown you the rounded rectangle tool with the L and R keys, and I've shown you the rounded rectangle tool with some perspective thrown in, reversed, corrected, and duplicated over multiple times to create that nice arrow centering effect. Overall, this would be a design that you can make. You can designate these as start or select as you wish, A and B as you wish. You could even make this B or A. You have your menu in the center because chances are your thumbs would never need to be in the center or that close to the center. So that would just bring up the menu. It would be a nice thing to see. Hyperlink does the menu. And then you have your L and R. They do as they sound. And you know what? One small thing I haven't actually said about yet, I haven't covered yet, and I'll do it now. I'll add an A-B key possibility. AB is what'd I do there? New layer, so it doesn't affect the first sharpshooter. Okay, so that AB key should go. Let's put it there. That AB key in Mario, as I'm told, I've tried it once. I don't think I liked it very much, so I think I turned it off, or I stopped using it entirely, or I just stopped using a skin that had that capability. The AB key in Mario is meant to allow you to sprint. So hold down B, and you can release and hit A fast and hold it again, and it will cause Mario to keep sprinting and he'll keep sprinting. He'll jump and hit back at the on the ground at the same speed the whole time because you're still sprinting that whole time. So it's massively useful, as I've heard from Mario specifically, but not really any other game I've found a use or thought of a use for. So L, R, your D-pad, menu, select, start, or vice versa, A, B, or vice versa, and your AB key for the combination of the both. And to map them, to get the coordinates specifically anyway, you do the same thing that you would have done for the last one, for the iPhone portrait skin. That would be find your starting point, your 24x, find your ending point, which is at 239. So 24, 239, that is, I believe, 15. No, 215. Whoops. 215 pixels in difference. So that's what you would put as your width. So obviously, this kind of setup, the coordinates, I'll be honest, are going off of the iPad and iPhone 2X. So you don't have to worry about, oh, do I have to code it differently for the iPad at 2X or the iPhone at iPhone Retina, or sorry, no, that's foolish. iPad at 2X, do I have to code it differently for that? No. What ends up happening is because the iPad Retina display is 2 times the resolution as the regular iPad display, you'll just see an at 2x, meaning at 2 times the resolution. So the difference between this skin design for the iPad 2 and the iPad at 2x portrait skin for the third, fourth, and I think it's the 5th generation being announced on the 22nd, it's just a screen resolution change of 2 times. So, this would, instead of being 768, it would be exactly twice that at 15,240? No, 1,500. Oh God, my math. Oh my. Gonna use a little Apple magic. Thank you, calculator. So can't type. 768 times 2 would be 1,536, and that 345 would be 790. Please tell me I'm not wrong. 345 times 2. 690. Oh my god, I can't think right now. So it would just stay at 2x, so you don't have to worry about coding it at 2x. Just make an at 2x version, easily simple as that, and drop the numbers down by cutting them in half for the iPad, for the actual coding. And I'll explain this in even more depth when I make and release those videos about coding the skins and how that works and how that looks and what you should see and what you should do when you have a properly working skin completely done and properly mapped. When that's done, I don't know when that'll be done, but hopefully it'll be done by the time GBA4iOS 2.0 is released, so you guys can start playing around with it and start making your own skins as soon as possible. Again, this could not have been possible without the amazing work of Riley Testit, the developer of GBA4iOS and GBA4iOS 2.0. This could not be made possible without all of your support in for our Twitter account and the idea of the GBA4iOSkins website, which I believe I will be updating tonight. Tonight being September the 17th. I will be updating it tonight to have a new desktop scenario or desktop design that you'll see. I will be taking off that countdown clock as it has caused a few issues, and people around the world are saying, "Yay, I only have to wait X amount of time," and I'm like, wait, no, you still have to wait until it's technically this time on Eastern Seaboard, but this is because of a limitation that I don't know how to fix myself. So I'm just going to take that timer off and say release date will be this in a specific line of code. I'm going to try and find out where. But you'll see it. It'll be updated tonight, and I hope that you'll all keep subscribing to us. To us all for Mythical is at Mythical. For me, at the 120th Whisper. Riley Testit, the developer of GBA4iOS 2.0, is at Riley Testit. Now, be careful. There are 2 fake accounts. There is Riley Testit, where the first L in his name, or at least the L in the Twitter account, was written with a capital I to fool iOS Twitter accounts or Twitter apps and the iOS Twitter look, or actually the iOS font design. A capital I looks like a lowercase l. So to fool people into tweeting to him and following him, he switched those 2 out and fooled him like that. There's also another account that was just made within the past 72 hours, and it's the same. It's kind of the same way. It's at Riley Test It, but it's with two T's at the very end. Do not make sure not to follow these two. Make sure not to be tricked by these two, claiming to be Riley Test It. One has said the Riley Test It account that has the I and L flipped. He has come out and said, uh, you know, yes, this is an account that is fake, but this is what I've done to make it look like yours. The other guy is claiming that the original Twitter account of @RileyTestIt, proper spelling and all, the correct links will be in the description and are popping up on your screen as I'm editing this. He has tried saying that the original Twitter account has been hacked, and therefore he's started up a new one, and all the updates will be going through there. And he's even said that there's a new GBA for iOS 2.0 release date announcement. That is not true. Do not believe that unless it comes directly from @RileyTestIt himself or at www.rileytestit.com. Links will be in the description. This is where official news from Riley Test It will be released. Anywhere else, you cannot, under any circumstances, believe, especially if they are claiming that it is a Riley Test It made account. If they are beta testers, you can find the list of the 40 beta testers on Riley Test It's website. I will have a direct link to that list on in the description. If you see beta testers tweeting out, you can believe them. If they're talking about bugs, you can believe them. If they're talking about fixes, features, whatever, you can believe them to a certain extent. There are some people that will fool you just to be fun. But all of my updates have been truthful. I have yet to lie about GBA for iOS just to get people pumped. That's pointless. That's useless. There is no point in doing that. It's not fun. It's not funny. It's kind of cruel. I mean, it's messed up. So if you see news coming from a quote Riley Test It account, unless it is directly from @RileyTestIt or from the website www.rileytestit.com, do not believe it. Always verify with Riley Test It or a beta tester directly. Otherwise, you cannot use this as a verified, trustable source of your information about the app. I've been very open about answering people's questions about the app. So if you have any questions, go ahead. Feel free to tweet at me or at the GBA4iOSkins Twitter account, and I will get back to you as soon as I can. I'm on the Eastern Seaboard, and I have school, so I'll wake up about 5 in the morning, Eastern Standard in the morning, 5 in the morning, and I usually go to bed around 10 o'clock p.m., but this can actually be extended to anywhere between 11 to 1 by the time I fall asleep, or during weekends, who knows. So I'll be constantly updating you, so just make sure to follow us on Twitter, subscribe to us on YouTube, and be looking out for the website, and I'll see you guys next week.